We're live. It's Monday. Another episode of Paper Route presented by I Am Athlete. Super excited about this week, guys. Another week to talk a little bit about basketball, big basketball, NBA Finals. The unexpected Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. They tie it up. Round 2. Corey, I know you're in the cut over there.
Yes, sir. I am here. Proudly.
Acting like you're not nervous.
Yeah? No. Nervous would not be the word to describe how I'm feeling right now.
You had to be nervous going into Game 2. After watching Game 1, everyone out there thought that it could potentially be a sweep. But
nope.
The Heat and Jimmy Butler stood up and did it.
They sure did.
Okay.
They sure did.
What we got going on here?
They stuck to the game plan. That's exactly what they did. They stuck to the game plan, and they reaped the benefits. And we'll get into it. But no, what was that you were saying?
We also have Antoine Walker chiming in, our NBA expert. No Nicole Moss. This foot thing, audience, team, everybody who's watching, this has turned into a real thing, right?
Yes.
So no Nicole Moss. Travis Kelce came out and said that the Kansas City Chiefs are a dynasty. Is this true? Let's discuss later, all right? But Corey, take us through what this day is going to look like.
Yeah, so you said it, Travis Kelce. He claims that the Chiefs are the new dynasty in the NFL and actually made his comparisons to the Warriors. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. And also Frank Vogel, he just has been hired as the Phoenix Suns' new head coach. So we'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, we got to start with Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Antoine, we had you on, and thanks for being on again, of course. But we had you on last Thursday, and we were giving our thoughts and previews into the series and whatnot, and here we are. The series is tied 1-1. But the Heat last night, they got it done 111 to 108 to tie the series. Jokic finished with 41 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough for them to get the win. Gabe Vincent, he was also the leading scorer for the Heat. He had 23 points. And Jimmy Butler added 21, as well as Bam Adebayo. But the Heat, they really showed some grit down the stretch. They were down most of the game. And they made it happen. In the last series, it was a 3-point game, and the Heat snuck out with the win. Antoine Walker, you on with us? We got you? Yep, there he is. What's going on, boss? How we feeling? Oh, I think you're on mute, man. Can we hear you? I don't think we hear him.
We have some technical difficulties right now, so we'll come back to Antoine Walker.
But Brandon, yeah, man, what's your thoughts, though? What's your thoughts? What did you see from the Heat in Game 2?
You know what? I got to be honest, shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked that the Miami Heat played the way they played.
Mm-hmm.
And also, let's not forget, remember going into, I think it was last series, we were talking about the Suns and the Heat. Ashley brought up a great point, and there's been people talking about it, obviously, across the sports world, the NBA world, but the altitude. The altitude was a big deal, right? So for the Miami Heat to play in Denver the way they did, full control, damn near, the entire game, that was a special moment for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect them to come out and play that way. I wouldn't have been surprised if they got swept.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been surprised. I know coach is coming out. We
yes,
got
sir,
you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Torn, what I'm saying, I'm giving my take on last night's game, and what I'm saying is, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised how that Miami Heat came out and played. All right. And I wouldn't have been surprised if this team got swept when you look at how the Denver Nuggets play all playoffs, all postseason, and also how they came out swinging in the first game of the finals. So I was shocked last night, Twan, that the Miami Heat came out and played the way they played. What were your thoughts watching this game?
Well, I definitely didn't believe that it'd be a sweep. Eric Spoelstra's too good of a coach. Miami's too tough of a team. Mentally, and Jimmy Butler, I got too much respect for Jimmy that he could definitely avoid getting swept. The depth is more on the advantage of Denver, but Miami game plan was great last night. I thought, and I think this is the blueprint to beating them for Miami. It's not for everybody. And what I mean by that is Joker can get 41. I mean, he had 41-11, but the big thing, he only had 4 assists.
4 assists.
And he only had 4 assists. So they did not allow the other guys to get involved in the game like typically they do. That's when Denver's at their best, when Jokic is able to get triple doubles and also still able to score. So you can't let him have his cake and eat it too. So you got to give the Heat a lot of credit on that. If Jokic gets 40, he gets 40. But you stop those other guys from getting involved may be the blueprint. I mean, it's only one game. It may be the blueprint to beating them. And I liked it last night. I thought obviously Miami was great offensively. When you make 17 threes, 5 guys in double figures, you shoot 48 and 48% from the field and from the three-point line. Just a great offensive night for the Heat. I don't know if the Heat can do that every night, but last night was huge, especially on the road. And the way that they decide to defend Jokic, I think, is the blueprint to win this series. Let them get 40. Right. Can you stop some of these to make sure these other guys don't get off? You can't let them have both.
Yep. And Antoine, I'm not sure if you remember from our conversation on Thursday, I had made the point that that's the game plan. Neutralize Jamal Murray and just make Jokic the score, right? What a crazy stat that I thought stood out to me was that in the 4 losses that the Nuggets have throughout the playoffs, Jokic averages 42 points, right? So those teams who have been able to beat the Nuggets, they force Jokic to be a scorer, eliminate the others. And that was the case throughout the game. They eliminated the others. Jamal Murray had, I think he was for the most part neutralized in the first half, and then of course he came on in the second. But that was the plan. That was the plan. Jokic had a game where he had 53 points and they lost, right? But that's what we've seen. We saw the adjustments from game 1 to game 2. Would you say that was the biggest adjustment? And do you see them really moving that way with that blueprint or game plan, for the lack of a better way of putting it, moving forward?
Yeah, because I think you can't let them have both of them. I think, and that's where they're at their best. Denver Nuggets, when everybody's involved and Jokic is getting triple doubles. So if I'm the Miami Heat, which they did in Game 2, and that's the great thing about Spoelstra, he's willing to adjust and make different changes game by game. I just believe that's just how it's got to be. I think you got to force him. You have to force Jokic to be a scorer. Let him score 50 if he scores 50, but don't let him get those other guys off. 4 assists is a very low assist total for a guy like Jokic who handles the basketball as much as he does. Y'all got to think about it. This guy got the ball in his hand 75% of the time. 4 assists for him is a very low total, so you got to give the Miami Heat a lot of credit for the way they defended him.
We got to be honest. I don't know what's going on with your camera over there. Somebody calling you. Who calling you right now? Somebody calling you?
No, I thought it was a call. We good now, brother. We're good now, brother.
Hey, bro. All right, listen. Do you really think the Miami Heat got a chance? So everything that we saw last night, everything that you just said, okay, what Corey just said, gave this crazy stat. Dude scored 40-something points and they lose, right? So if that's the way, let's not let the others beat us. Do you really think that the Miami Heat could look up in a week or two and find themselves as the champions?
Oh, without question. I think winning last night was the biggest thing. They had to go get one in Denver.
Yep.
I don't think Denver wins in Miami. I think role players play better at home with the home crowd. I think now you can, they had 5 guys in double figures last night. So the role players haven't played bad on the road either. So I just think this team is tough. I like Jimmy Butler late. If it comes down to a possession game, I like Jimmy Butler in the clutch. And it's about toughness. I think when you look at Miami, it's about toughness and taking things away. And Eric Spoelstra, and don't get me wrong, Malone's a great coach, but I think Eric Spoelstra, when it comes down to we have to make a strategy decision at the end of the game,
right.
I like the Miami Heat. And I think that's what you saw last night.
Interesting.
Jokic had 41. They wasn't running around double teaming Jokic and allowing other guys to shoot threes. They wasn't doing that. They took that 40 from Jokic. They took it from him.
Honestly.
And then still was able to come out with the win. But if Miami plays the way they played last night, there's no way Denver can win. If they get 5 guys in double figures and they make 17 threes, it is no way the Denver Nuggets beating the Miami Heat.
Wow. So listen, so basically what I hear you saying, because I like to bet a little bit. So what I hear you saying is me putting, a few dollars on Miami to win it is not a bad bet.
Oh, no, it's a great bet right
now. Twan gonna get me paid. Twan gonna get me paid. How much should I put down, Twan? So listen.
The momentum of the series is switched, man. The momentum has changed.
All right, let's say, Swan, and I don't know if you're into all this stuff like parlays, same game parlays, player prop bets, all of that stuff. But let's say I got 20K. Mm-hmm. How would you advise me to spend my money? Would you say, yo, bro, just put 1,000 down? Would you say, bro, put it all on the Heat? Or would you say, bro, like, how would you advise me?
In that situation, I would say, if I had my choice, I would say you could put it all on the Heat. I just think they need to win one in Denver. I just think now the series has changed. I don't think Denver gets one in Miami.
Yeah, I think winning one in Denver was huge. It was huge, honestly.
Bro. That's what coming into the series. That's what I was worried about.
Yo,
I was worried. I thought it'd be a 6-7 game series. I thought it'd be a long series, and it was going to be a team. I just don't think Denver Nuggets can go into Miami and get a win. I just think Miami others plays well at home. They played well last night. I think they continue to do that, and it's going to be an uphill battle for Denver. I think the blueprint was last night. Jokic can get 40. Hell, he can get 45, 50.
Yeah, Denver Nuggets' first loss at home
not
throughout
allowed
the playoffs.
to be a balanced attack.
Yeah, I know that was big. Woo or Corey, I don't know who can do this faster, but can someone tell me if I put down just $1,000 on the Miami Heat, what are those odds? What can I win? This could be big because this is interesting. Like, I mean, I said 25, but the last couple bets for me, couple fights, I put it all on the line. Was everything I owned, all my cash, all the cash I had available. I put 100,000, boom, on Izzy, boom. Then I come back and I put 100,000 on Javonte Tank Davis. Now the odds wasn't great there. Everybody expected him to win. So Woo, if you can tell me,
I actually got it. You said for 1,000?
Yeah, 1,000.
2,200. You'll win 2,200 if you put down 1,000 right now.
Oh my goodness! What if I put 100,000 down? It's the same thing.
Let me see.
220,000.
Yeah. Because I don't even think I could put in a number that large.
Wow, that's a come up, bro. I might do that.
Yeah.
Toy, let me ask you this question before Corey pushed the conversation forward. Will this be one of the greatest display of coaching that we've seen in a long time by Eric Spoelstra if they go out there and they get this done, right? Because coming in as an 8th seed, I don't think anybody picked the Miami Heat to be the favorite to come out the East or win it. I don't know if anybody out there that did that, right? So where does this team match up with some of the underdogs that you've seen in the NBA while you're playing and also covering the game?
I mean, obviously, when you think about the undrafted players and the way their roster is put together, this will be one of the great stories of NBA history. Let alone because of you look at how this roster was put together with so many undrafted players, guys. You don't have a ton of big name guys on this team. The strategic moves that the Miami Heat made just to help this team out. I think the Kevin Love pickup during the season, like just small things that they did. To build this team, and then being the 8th seed. I think also I don't want to forget that. I don't want to leave this out. We have to also give a lot of credit and a lot of props that they're able to pull this off. And we don't know how the rest of the series is going to turn out. But Jimmy Butler is probably in the Hall of Fame now.
Wow.
Automatically. I mean, if they come back and they win the series, he's already close to being in the Hall of Fame as one of the best two-way players to play the game. But now you're talking about winning the NBA championship. With the group that they have, speaks values, and it just shows how great the Miami Heat organization is as far as their scouting and development staff. When you look at all these guys that they were able to pick up and put onto this team, they didn't go in the big free agent market. I mean, I know they signed Kyle Lowry a couple years ago, and obviously Jimmy came in, but they haven't really went out in the market and signed big splashes. They've done it through undrafted players. They've done it through the draft. So you got to get them this championship team that they're able to pull this off. This would be an unbelievable story.
So I got two more questions, Corey, before I let you go and take it.
I got a couple
First off, congratulations, Corey.
Yeah.
Congratulations as one of the super fans of Heat Nation.
Yeah.
Is it Heat Nation?
Heat Nation, yeah.
Is that what you guys call yourself? Kind of corny, but it's okay. It'll work.
Heat Nation.
But congratulations, bro. Like I'm
Absolutely.
happy for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you celebrate or did you act like everyone in the organization, the Pat Riley's of the world, just like, we're not done yet.
Yeah, we're not done yet. 3 more. That's the mentality. That's why I wasn't too boisterous, or is that the word? I wasn't too excited on social media last night. Like, no, we got 3 more.
That's why we didn't get that post.
Well, I didn't tag everybody. I didn't tag everybody. I think wait till we go out. Wait till I'm on here saying 1 more. Yeah, wait till I'm on here saying 1 more. Then I'm gonna really turn up the heat.
What was your prediction again?
Pun intended. Huh?
What was your prediction?
Well, actually, Antoine, to be honest, I would love to see the Heat win 2 in a row at home, but I think both teams might win a road game in the first 4.
That wasn't his question. Wu asked you what was your prediction.
What was your prediction?
That was my prediction. Like I said, I think both teams will win 1 on the road, so the series will be tied 2-2. After 4, I think this goes to 7. I honestly do think this goes to 7 because I think it's going to be a chess match all throughout the series, right? I'm assuming it might take another game for the Nuggets to really catch on to like the defense that the Heat are throwing at them. But I think once they even up the series, Miami's going to counterpunch, right? But I think it's going to go all the way to the end. We'll see. We'll see. I'm using like boxing references. I feel like I was just describing a fight or something.
Now I have 3 questions. After hearing you talk about what you think how the series is going to play out, Twan, who feels more like the championship team? And you know what I'm talking about, bro. Some dudes, some teams, some organizations just cut from a different cloth, right? And so, like, if this goes to 7, Twan, now we talking about dudes who can dig deep, dudes who can overcome, they can persevere, they can overcome any type of challenges, right? Coaches, players, support staff. It's just going to take everyone, even the fans, right? Like the fans going to sit there and ride and really give it they all. So what organization, what team feels like this team is the championship team?
Well, it was me. I think the Miami Heat. I think they feel like they're the championship team, and rightfully so. They've got a gritty group. I think sometimes we look at the number as them being an 8 seed, so we don't give them the same respect because they didn't necessarily have a great season. But they're well coached. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach who's been in so many meaningful games and championship coach. So you got an advantage there. Not taking anything away from Mike Malone, but Eric Spoelstra has been there before. You got some gritty guys, I think, on the Miami Heat that they want it. Guys that have worked really hard to get in the league, the Gabe Vincents, the Matt Strus, all these guys have worked so hard to get into the league. I just think they have a little edge on their shoulders. That's what you saw last night. I think now with them having the opportunity now to go back home and really take advantage of this series, I just like the Miami Heat. I think they're going to win this series. I mean, Joker's great, but when you score 41-11, you get 41-11 and you still lose at home, that's tough, Bree. You as a player, you know how that is. When you're the best player, you're like, man, I did everything I could do, and we still lost.
Right. Yeah, I remember back in the day when I was out there, I would drop 35, 36.
I'm just talking about you getting 8 catches for 1. I ain't talking
bro,
about no basketball.
Hey, bro, stop hating, bro. Hey, Torn, let me tell you this. Torn. We talked about this a few times because we've been rocking together for a minute now. I'm telling you right now, back then when you was in your prime, I was the better shooter.
Oh.
Like, you gotta look up his numbers. Twan, like, listen, low key, Twan's numbers is crazy from when you talk about from deep. But like Twan, I just feel really good about my shot, bro. There's that, man. There's some cats that's out there didn't make it to the big leagues, didn't make it to the NBA, but they still like that. And I was like that.
I saw the video surface of you shooting, brother.
We saw it.
I saw the video. I should have hit you up after I seen the video. Playing ball.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but no. I was a volume shooter. I was a volume shooter.
You was a volume. Twan, this is gonna be my last question. Sorry, I said I had 2 more, but I'll do this and then I'll throw it to you, Corey. Eric Spoelstra, you talked about Jimmy Butler solidifying his Hall of Fame place if they get this done. Eric Spoelstra, I think it's already known that he'll probably be a Hall of Famer, right? Is that okay to say?
Oh yeah, easy.
Okay, so where will you place Eric Spoelstra if they get this done? If he's a champion with this team, where does that place him all time?
I mean, you gotta look at their roster. You gotta look where they're being seeded at as an eighth seed. I don't know the numbers of how many ACs have won the NBA championship. I don't have that, but I don't know that off the top of my head.
Woo, can you look
But
that
where
up?
they come, and then you also gotta look at their roster. I mean, let's really look at this roster that, with the undrafted players and free agencies that they signed. They don't really have a big name roster,
Right.
and they're getting this done. And we see so many teams and organizations sign 2-3 guys to supermax deals and try to build these super teams and come up short. But Eric Spoelstra's got an opportunity now to take this team that doesn't have all the big names, doesn't have all the big stars. They got one star in Jimmy Butler and a couple really, really good ball players, and they put together a great team, a championship team.
So are you going to answer the question?
I mean, to me right now, I'm going to be Eric Spoelstra is the top 3 coach in the NBA right now. Now, if he wins the title with this group, you start to take his status a little bit even more higher than what it was. You got to think this is the same guy. He won the championship with LeBron and D Wade. So, he's got experience. And it's easier to win with those type of guys. But to come back and do it the other way, the way he's doing it this way, it ain't too many coaches that can never say they did it.
So
Most of the great coaches, put it like this. I'll just simplify it like this.
Yeah, because you're definitely not answering it.
But no, most of the great coaches, you got to break this down so people understand. Most of the great coaches in the league, the Phil Jackson, obviously have Michael and Scotty, Kobe, Popovich, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, all these big name guys that won multiple titles. You look at Eric Spoelstra, who's won multiple titles. Now you come back and win it with this group. He's in a very elite category in separating himself.
Right.
When you look at their roster from top to bottom.
So Wu, did you pull that up?
Yeah. So you were saying if any 8 seed teams have ever won?
Yep.
No, none have ever won, and the closest has been the Knicks. The Knicks got in one time to the NBA Finals as the 8 seed.
Wow.
Now, B. Marshall, I sound like even more of a genius. When I think about it. I didn't even know that. That was off the dome.
Yeah.
Right.
That was off the dome. I mean, we saw 8 seeds upset 1 seed before, but I knew it was a championship was something different.
Right. All right. So let me throw out some names real quick, right? Because I still want you to tell me what's his place in history. Okay. You got Greg Popovich. You got Phil Jackson. You got Pat Riley, Chuck Daly, Lenny Wilkins. You have Red. You have Steve Kerr. You have Larry Brown, Don Nelson, Eric Spoelstra's up there, Doc Rivers, Jerry Sloan. What other names? Rick Carlisle.
If Eric
Bud
wins the title, he gets it to the top 5 ever NBA coaches ever.
Okay, hold on. You want me to keep going? Jeff Van Gundy,
No,
you ain't gonna throw him
you
Mike
don't-
Brown?
you don't- You don't have to keep going. I'm letting you know. He moves into the top 5 ever.
Okay, can I get that clear so I can clip that and so I can when I just want to make sure I want to make sure you have your place in history when it comes to sports talk, right? Because you're saying something that a lot of people ain't gonna go out there and say. So can I get that clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm waiting.
Yes, you can get that.
All right.
Yes, I truly believe that.
Okay. So Big Twan is saying that if they get this done in Miami Heat, Eric Spoelstra will be top 5 coach. Make himself.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you got to think about this. To one, it's everybody say, "Oh, it was easy. You had LeBron James and D Wade and Ray Allen." But it's hard when you got the talent to win it all. To make guys, the personalities to mash together, to find a system that everybody can flourish in, to be happy, to make sure you lead those guys. He done that. Now you take him to a situation now where he's taking undrafted players. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's a superstar. He has a couple all-stars. He doesn't have a superstar. Kyle Lowry's been an all-star in the league. Bam Adebayo's made an all-star team. Think about the roster that's in place. Nobody's done this but him.
Right.
He's one of the first coaches to do this. Okay. All our elite coaches that we give all the praise to, the Phil Jacksons, the Popoviches, and those guys have had great players.
Steve Kerr.
Great superstars.
Yeah.
Look at this Miami Heat team, man. It's different. You got to give Eric Spoelstra a lot of credit on what he's doing right now, and the schemes he's coming up with, the way they're doing it. They're doing it from the A seed. They've had to work. The quality of teams they had to beat, being undermatched. Lost 2 of their very good players, Victor Oladipo, Tyler Herro, haven't been able to play. You got to look at all those things in play, but he's figured out a way to continue to come up with schemes. So if he's able to pull this off, he jumps up there really quick, man, because he's had a lot of success as a coach. This would be the iceberg right here, though.
Yeah. Now, speaking of coaching, and before we move on from the Miami Heat and Nuggets conversation, another topic of conversation was actually that last possession. Antoine, I wanted to ask you, too, if you're Mike Malone, do you call timeout in that situation, or do you just let the play run out as they did?
Sometimes a lot of coaches like to not have defenses set up. I don't think they have that type of team. Means your best player is a center.
Yeah.
I think you call a timeout and you drop something probably for one of your better shooters. I mean, Michael Porter or Jamal Murray, you drop something. But that's a lot of trust to put out there on that team. He must believe in those guys and trust them. But I would have called timeout.
Yeah. And one more thing before we go, too, you had mentioned, one of the two Heat players that they've been playing without throughout these playoffs has been Tyler Herro. And we talked about it on Thursday. If you're Eric Spoelstra, how do you use Tyler Herro, in this series? Well, he returns in Game 3. Series is tied 1-1. How do you think they use him?
He is
in Game
returning?
3? Yeah.
Wow.
I thought he was going to return Game 2.
I think you use him for a boost. I think, obviously his comfortability level with his hand is going to be key. But I think if you can get some spot minutes from him, I wouldn't look for him to play a huge role because you got good things rolling right now. Your rotation's kind of set. You kind of figured this series out. You kind of know where you're at right now. But if you can get some I would say 10, 12 minutes out of him, I don't see nothing more than that. I think it will take some time. Not anything to do with being in the shape and none of those things. I just think you got a rotation going right now. You got a good rhythm. And you never want to disrupt that. Yeah. But if you can get some spot, you can get 10, 12 minutes out of them, would be great. Because the Heat, we know the Heat struggle sometimes for scoring. So if you can get that a little bit of minutes out of them, be good. I wouldn't expect them to have a huge impact in this series. I don't think so.
I'm gonna say this before we move on, and this is gonna piss off a lot of NBA players. And I'm saying this, and I'm not trying to just piss off people just to piss off people. This is what I truly believe. Tyler Herro is the best dressed NBA player, and it ain't even close.
He can dress.
It ain't even close,
dress.
Bro.
He could dress.
What? And I don't know if it's because of the fit, but bro, from his fit to what he's picking and how he's putting together, Tyler Herro is the best dressed. That's it. That's all. We can move on.
And we standing on that.
We can move on.
All right. Hey, well, there was actually an update, and Antoine, we actually haven't had you on since everything that's happened, really, regarding this situation. But Ja Morant, right? NBA Commissioner Adam Silver announced that they've done all the investigating that they needed to pertaining towards this, the most recent situation where Ja Morant was holding a handgun on social media, and they said they're going to announce it after the NBA Finals. So, we thought that was interesting. Wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then, Antoine, too, I wanted to ask you, again, because we haven't really spoke to you, about the Ja Morant situation. What's your message to him? And I wanted to ask you, too, do you think leaving the Memphis Grizzlies might be in Ja Morant's best interest, somewhere down the line, just to remove himself from this
fresh start?
Yeah, fresh start.
Well, just to answer the last part you said, he definitely needs to leave Memphis. Probably has created too much turmoil there locally. I played in Memphis. Memphis is a nice city, but it's got some rough parts, got some rough patches. And, people obviously, he's got a huge fan base and people are following him. And, you can be out, and Brandon, this, you could be out in the club, out socializing, and you can bump into the wrong person. They want to try you.
Right.
And you don't want to never put yourself in that position because that's the way it seems when you start talking about the guns and all those things. I feel bad, man. I've had the opportunity. I never, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to talk about this, but I feel bad for him, man, because he's such a great and terrific talent. He has the world at his feet. He can he can make so much money playing the game that we love, but he's putting himself down an alley that you don't want to go down. And I speak from experience, and not saying I never was like Ja with guns, but I got robbed twice, man. And you get robbed. I got robbed twice, and Brandon, Chicago really, really well. I used to wear a lot of jewelry. I used to be around trying to keep it real, be around the guys and stay around them. And unfortunately, when we make it pro and make it to our highest profession, we got to change lanes a little bit because everybody's not going to treat you the same, and everybody's not going to be cool with you. Some people are going to be very envious and jealous of what you have, and it's unfortunate. But when you make it to a certain level, you have to separate yourself in certain situations, and he just has done a terrible job of it. And the bad part about it, he needs to take social media away from himself. Just take it off your phone. I think that's the first thing that bothers me with him. And it's a difference in doing things in the privacy of your home and doing things privately. But he has to get social media away from him, man, whether it's from his own phone and from his friends. Well, that's where he's setting a bad example at. That's where a lot of the problems are coming from, because he's carrying out these acts on social media. And you can't do that. I mean, in this day and age, too many people watch it. Too many people are envious. And I feel so bad for him, because he's a first ballot Hall of Fame type player, man. And he's got everything at his feet. He can make hundreds of millions of dollars playing this game, and he's probably going to get cut short as he continue to play. The NBA, this will be defined. This is the test, the moment right here, to be what they find him, what they suspend him, and he's probably going to have. And you got to think about it. He's probably going to have no wiggle room to even make a mistake again. So
how many games are you thinking? How many games do you think?
I'm starting at the minimum half the season.
Wow, that's aggressive.
That's a lot of games.
You think they'll do that a half a season, bro?
Yeah, because it's guns, man. It's the safety of the players in the league. Obviously, they're gonna want to look out for his safety. And the league is a big brand, man. It's bigger than one player. That brand is bigger than one player. So punishment is going to be stiff, and it's going to be the wake up call. I can see that he's going to lose a ton of money, and the punishment is going to be stiff.
Yeah, you spoke about him surrounding himself around people, a better group, for the lack of a better way of putting it. Latest report said that Ja Morant unfollowed his childhood friend Devontae Pack, who was actually the person who had him on his live. So, do you think that maybe is a step in the right direction for Ja Morant? Do you think he's realizing, all right, I need to, associate myself with a different crowd now?
Oh, without question. I mean, I think that takes a lot of courage to be able to do that, and obviously understanding that maybe his friend doesn't have his best interest at heart, and to be able to do that speaks volumes. And I think, that's something that the league will look at and understand that, he's trying to disassociate himself from some people that have been around him and put him in bad situations. But also, too, man, one thing I always try to tell guys, I wish I could, tell Ja, from a guy I got robbed twice at gunpoint. And this whole keep it real type of mentality. And this, Brandon, you was in Chicago.
Right.
He was in Chicago with me, and just trying to keep it real and be around the guys. I mean, people don't allow you to do that, and you have to understand that. And there's different ways you can keep it real without having to hang out with them or be in their presence. And I think that's something that I would like to talk to Ja about. Ja, you got to understand where you at. You're a role model for a lot of kids who love you, love your game, and it's a certain way you got to carry yourself. But everybody don't want the best for you.
Twan, did you get robbed at home? Was it was it in Chicago?
Yeah, I got robbed at home. Home invasion.
Oh wow.
Were you home?
Yes, I was home. Yep.
Dang.
I was home. And it's weird because, they got in. My stepfather was there at the time, and he went out to the garage to get something for me, and they was out there waiting, and then they ended up coming to the house while I was there. But you know what I'm saying? That's a scary situation, man, when you get, and you start talking about the guns and all that. And people are envious and jealous. They think he got to understand, people think that that's what you want. That's what you want to be involved.
I wonder
when you do that.
I wonder if that's what the NBA's talking about. And this is just my opinion and my thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see what they disclose when they disclose it. But I wonder if this is what the NBA is talking about, like they found more. Remember what they said, they did their investigation and there was more things that came up. Let's go back to the kid that tried to sue him or sued him at his crib. They were playing pickup at his crib. Things went left. What Ja came out and said afterwards, the dude said he was going to shoot up his crib, and then Ja punched him in the mouth or whatnot. And so I wonder if that's why Ja's been moving that way or felt like he had to go get guns, because Why didn't he do this in high school? Or why didn't he do this in college? Why didn't he do this the first couple years in the NBA? Why now? Why are you doing this now? I don't think there was any problems before. I don't think he was involved with any guns before these last two incidents. So why now, right? Because I was in a situation in Denver, and some things had happened, and I went straight and got straight to the gun range, to the gun store, whatever they call it. I got me a couple pistols, and that was like idiotic the way I was moving. So I'm curious, on why he got the guns, right? Now, obviously, being boastful and bragging with them, that's a whole nother story. But like, why did you get them in the first place? Because you guys talk about Memphis. There's some cities where you feel like you need to be protected, right? And so when y'all say leave, I say no. Because you're just dealing with the surface level shit. Like sometimes you got to get to the root of it. You got to get deeper. So, Ja unfollows his childhood friend. Well, like y'all was just good a week ago. Like why you unfollow him now? No, like this is to me, that's corny. I'm telling you right now, it's corny. What should happen is both of us sit down as childhood friends and be like, yo, let's be better. Let's hold each other accountable. Yeah. But because I'm in the league and the league coming down on me, I'm going to go say, I'm not going to be friends with him no more. No, it's like, bro, like we both made mistakes. You shouldn't have posted me. I shouldn't have had the gun. We shouldn't be moving like this. Let's get better. If we can't align on where we need to take our lives and our friendship, then we need to move on. And maybe that's the reason, Twan. Maybe that's why he had to unfollow him, because maybe they sat down, they had the little powwow, they did their little intervention, and Buddy said, no, this is how I'm living, this is how I'm moving. Maybe he's a gang, I don't know. But like, that's corny to me. Leaving Memphis would be corny because, Memphis ain't the problem. It's you. You feel me? So I think there's a lot to this. It's going to be interesting, man. I hope he don't get more than a half a season, man. I think this is one of those. I think this is a defining moment for him. I think this is a moment where he's going to get it right. Now, will he be perfect? No. And if we're expecting for Ja Morant or any athlete or any human being to be perfect after they make mistakes, then we're kidding ourselves. We're foolish. Now you just can't make disasters. That's what I learned. Like, you can make mistakes, but you can't create damn traumatic tragedies. You can't do that, right? So hopefully you get it right, but I don't think it's anything outside of Ja, Twan.
Do we think it's a stunt?
I would add to this too when it comes to the punishment. Obviously he's going to get hit with a big punishment. I think more so, I think you gotta be in a situation where he's got to understand that he's putting his career at risk. And I think the league does have to make a stance on that it's not going to be tolerated because let's be honest, most of our guys that come in the league are coming from the inner city. They're trying to better themselves. And some of us, we have friends and people that may not be the best people to be around. So you have to, make sure the punishment, I would say, fits the crime.
Right.
So, and it actually makes sense moving forward if something like that's happened again, because it possibly could, because of where our players come from and the people that we're involved in, the people that are our friends sometimes. So I think for Ja, he has to realize that, listen, man, I got a situation here where I could be one of the best players to ever play the game, play basketball. It's nice to like rap music. It's nice to hang out with the rappers. It's nice to, but I got an opportunity of a lifetime right now. And it's going to be a one-time. I guarantee you this punishment, he gets no more chances out of this.
So this is the last thing I would say on Ja, Twan, is 2 years ago, Ja trained here at House of Athlete. And so his father was here, his uncle was here, his whole camp, the guys that trained him from IMG Academy, where he went to high school, right up in Bradenton, Florida, just north of where we sit today. And what I would say is, it seems like they're trying to do it right, but just walking through the building, and I didn't spend a lot of time with him. You know what I mean? Like there's times he's sitting on our stadium seats having lunch, and I'll connect with him. I'll say what's up, and that was it, and I'll keep it moving. But I connected with the people around him, his trainers, some of the friends that was there, and the conversation around him was, yo, how do we benefit, right? And so, we talk about unfollowing his guys. Like, look, that might be the case. I just don't want to use that as an excuse because y'all got to do the work. It's not Memphis. It's not the people, because you can control. You got to control the things you can control. But there's some people in that circle that's like, yo, Ja Morant, I can build a product off of this or a facility off of this. There's the trainers that's like, yo, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. Like the video people, everybody trying to eat off Ja. And that's not the blueprint. That's not the blueprint Jay-Z gave us. That's not the blueprint LeBron is that laid out and gave us and showing us. That's not the way. It's not what I can get from this. It's like, yo, how do we build together that makes sense? And there's a lot of let me move on, because there's a lot of clowns that was in that circle from, what I saw 2 years ago.
Yep, hoping, of course, Ja Morant learns from this lesson. But all right, moving on. Shortly before we actually got on air, Antoine and Brandon, Shams Charania, he released a report that said Kyrie Irving had reached out to Lakers star LeBron James in attempts to see if he would actually come to Dallas. Right, Kyrie, of course, is going to be a free agent this offseason, but, looks like he's actually recruiting LeBron James to maybe come to Dallas. What are your thoughts on that, Antoine?
Well, I think, I think LeBron is content to stay in L.A., for one, basketball reasons, and then two, business-wise, and then three, the ultimate, his son is going to be it's USC.
Right.
So all those things, I think LeBron is not going to go anywhere. They got some young pieces around. That group was put together on the fly. I know LeBron's probably thinking they get a full training camp in. Everybody starts understanding their role. They did make a nice little run in the playoffs with the group, putting it together last minute. But now you get a full training camp with those guys. I think the Lakers will be fine. I don't see LeBron going anywhere. But it's a nice gesture. I don't mind Kyrie reaching out to him and trying to get him involved. But if I was Kyrie, he needs to spend a summer with Luka and really figure out how can they benefit of playing with each other. Yeah. Because those are two ball-dominant guys. Yeah. They both need the ball in their hands to be successful. So I think that's something that Kyrie should probably try to figure out instead of putting these notions out about LeBron. Let me figure out how to get better with Luka.
Right. And this is the first I've seen of Kyrie Irving actually recruiting somebody to Dallas, maybe suggesting that he wants to stay in Dallas. You think Kyrie Irving stays there? Or, because we saw him actually at the Lakers game, right? When they were, when they were playing the Nuggets and whatnot, people were, had their speculations then. Where do you think Kyrie Irving ends up?
It's not a great fit because Luke is so ball dominant. It's always tough for a point guard with Kyrie's skill set to play with another guy who's ball dominant. I thought he'll be able to do it because he played with LeBron James, and LeBron James is a ball-dominant guy. So I thought it would be an easy adjustment for Kyrie. I thought he played well, but maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe he's looking for a situation where he's the main guy. Yeah. So that could be a reason why he may think about leaving. But I think they could start something good there. It's just about guys have to make certain sacrifices when you're talking about two ball-dominant guys, and LeBron was willing to do that. That's why LeBron and Kyrie had so much success together because they never really got in each other's way. So I would like to see Luka and Kyrie stay together. I think you do need two playmakers on a team that can make plays for others, but you got to be willing to accept those roles.
Right. So listen, I'm standing up here because my 4-year-old kid is in there taking the number 2, doing number 2 right now. He's been sitting in Ashley's Baby Zoe's been sitting in Ashley's seat, chilling on my iPhone for the last hour or so. But I wanted to chime in here before I got to wipe his butt. All right. Don't forget, Twan, that the Mavericks is where Kyrie can maximize his earnings, right? Now they can do a sign and trade. All right. They can do that, and he can make up some money there. But because he was on that team last year, that's where he can make the most money when you talk about the max, okay? So from 140 to 200 something million, depending on if they do a 4-year or 5-year deal. I think that's probably why he's thinking this way. We also we have to consider, the why behind this. He lost his Nike deal. He was up There were some things that happened around Kyrie. Kyrie then lost a Nike deal. He thought he was going to get more money. Okay. There was other people out there that was potentially stepping up, potentially him launching his own shoe. And I'm saying that because when we sat down with Kyrie before the season last year, he talked about the Nike deal. He talked about, making money, and money was a priority for him. Okay. So, Adidas is out there allegedly saying that, they're exploring this. I don't see that happening, but I'm just saying, when everybody's sitting back and watching, where's Kyrie going? Where's Kyrie going? I think Kyrie's looking at both. Like, where can I go and play high-level basketball, but also make a lot of money? And the only way that he gets both is, like you said, trying to figure it out with Luka, all right, and maybe them getting a piece there. Maybe it is LeBron. Maybe LeBron might go. I don't see it happening, but there's a small possibility. Or a sign and trade, which would be difficult. Like I don't think there's any team out there. I don't think there's a lot of teams out there lining up for Kyrie. Do you think there's a lot of teams out there that's like, yo, we want Kyrie. We're a Kyrie piece away. We'll deal with it.
No, I think you're not going to see a lot of teams there because he's yet to show that basketball is number one. I think during the pandemic and that whole situation probably scared away a few teams. With the whole vaccination and all that stuff took part. So I think, if you're going to pay a guy top max dollars, you want a guy who's going to be totally invested, and you're trying to build the organization around him. And I think some organizations are a little suspect of doing that with Kyrie Irving because of some of the things that have happened in the past. But he's still, arguably a top 3 point guard in the league. He's a terrific talent. Every team in the league would love to have him. It's just the commitment of dollars that a team is going to make on him. Somebody's going to pay him. I don't think he's going to get the full length of a contract, a 5-year deal, something like that, and maybe something a little more shorter, a 3 to 4 year deal from a team. But Kyrie Irving's a terrific talent. He just got to figure out where his mindset is at, and it's got to be first basketball. And he's shown over the last year and a half, 2 years, that basketball has not been number one. But people know once he's played and locked in, he's obviously, top 5 point guard in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think Wu wanted to add
Yeah,
something.
actually, I wanted to point out a fact here. So I'm looking at something that says if he signs a 5-year deal with the Mavericks, he'll make $272.92 million. If he goes to another team for 4 years, $201. So this is a $70 million decision he has to make.
No, that's a good point there.
Great ad. It's a lot of bread. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, we're sitting there looking at, so a lot of us are looking at it from one lens and one perspective. Like, oh man, if he go to the Lakers and he got LeBron and he got AD, boom, like they're probably gonna come out the West, right? I mean, that's really the only team. Like I'm out here of any other team, really standing up or him excited about anyways. LeBron, because LeBron knows him. It seems like they got the relationship back right. LeBron probably feel comfortable with, who Kyrie is. And then it's just the Mavericks. The Mavericks, they went out there and made this trade. Like if Mark Cuban doesn't keep Kyrie, this would go down as one of the dumbest trades that we've ever seen in the NBA. Am I wrong here, Twan?
I mean, yeah. When you think about what you gave up, and
it was aggressive.
You gave up everything not to be able to keep him, and your object is to put another superstar with Luka. That's the whole goal in getting Kyrie Irving because, obviously Dallas is a great city, but it's not necessarily a big free agent spot. You haven't seen a lot of big free agents sign with the Dallas Mavericks, so you got an opportunity to get a Kyrie Irving. I just know Mark Cuban. I think Mark Cuban is going to offer him the max, whatever that number is going to be at. It's
4 or 5, 4-year max, 5-year max. What do you think?
You probably have to offer him 5-year max. You probably have to offer him a 5-year max. I don't think the Dallas Mavericks are in position to let Kyrie Irving walk out the door.
No.
I think he has the everything's in his hands. I think you offer him the max and you bring those two guys back, a full training camp, and you figure it out, and they'll figure out how to play together. But it's hard to let him walk out that door. You gave up too much terrific talent, and Dallas is not necessarily a big free agent market. We haven't seen them. Luka was drafted by them. You got to remember that. We haven't seen any big-time free agents sign with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, you haven't.
You haven't seen that. So now you got an opportunity. You got one right in your backyard. You don't want to let him go. So you're gonna probably have to give him the max.
While we on this basketball stuff, I know we got to move forward. How long do we have Twan here? Actually, Twan, how long do we have you? We have him.
What? We got some more good. We got some more good topics. You need some of my football knowledge.
Oh! You know what? You know what we should do before. How long do we have Twan, Corey?
We have him for about 10. We had a couple more topics we was gonna hit.
Yeah, like maybe we go to because I love. For a lot of people don't know, this is Brandon Marshall. We have Antoine Walker, Mr. Shimmy himself. We got Corey in the cut. We got Woo out west. We got BC in the booth, and we got Manderville. You'll never see his face. His name is Manderville. We're on Faction Talk, Sirius XM for all the listeners. This is YouTube. We're streaming live for you guys that are in the car listening right now. Man, maybe we do talk about. I want to get Twan's perspective on what Travis Kelce said. You know, but I wanted to ask him one last basketball question. But be quick here, Twan, because I want to be respectful of your time. Because I think you might peel back some layers when I talk about dynasty and what Travis Kelce said. Zion Williamson, is he a Pelican next year or no?
Yeah, I think he's a Pelican. It's hard, and we know he's had some problems staying healthy, but it's too hard, especially for an organization like that, to hit a home run with a superstar. When Zion's healthy, he's one of the top 24 players in the league. Okay. We've seen that. So it's hard to get guys like that. So you don't want to give up on him. Obviously, with Zion, is always going to be. Hopefully not. I mean, he turns it into a positive thing. It'll be a body situation for him. On if he can stay in shape and keep his body together. Hopefully he's doing his due diligence to make sure that he stays healthy. But it'll be hard pressed. It's too hard. You can't lose Anthony Davis, then come back and then lose a Zion Williams to the New Orleans Pelicans. That sets a franchise back too far.
All right.
So Zion, you really want Zion to get a deal done with Zion.
Last one I promise on this. We'll move on a little football because Twan does love talking football. For you guys don't know, Twan actually, legendary baseball player. Could have probably made it in baseball. For real though, I'm not. I play a lot, but for real though, you really were. Football. You say you played ball. Did you ever say you played football?
No, I ain't played football.
Okay, yeah, but you talk, you know football, but you ain't played football.
I'm a huge football fan growing up.
Dallas Cowboys and the Bears.
I played for 4 years too.
Yeah, you did what?
I played with Donovan McNabb, Simeon Rice. All those guys went to my high school, man. I went to a football school.
Oh, that's cool.
That's right. So we'll get there. Dame Lillard, is he a Blazer, trailblazer? Is it still a trailblazer?
Yeah, they're a trailblazer.
Is he a trailblazer?
I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be. I just think he has a tremendous loyalty to the Portland Trailblazers and being in Portland. Obviously, as a basketball fan, and we would love to see him somewhere else, and competing for championships and being back in meaningful games. I'm not saying that Portland can't get there. I just think they're some years away. It's a young group. The Western Conference is strong again. Too many other good teams out there. So I just think I would love to see him love to see him go somewhere else and play for championships. But I think he's just so loyal to the Portland Trailblazers. He's not going nowhere.
Okay.
Yep. All right, well, Brandon, you said it. We're going to talk some football. And over the weekend, Travis Kelce, he made an appearance on FanDuel TV, and he claimed that the Chiefs have a dynasty similar to the Warriors. Right, so those were his claims, and he says that once he and Patrick Mahomes finish their careers, they'll have the same or more titles than the Warriors. We actually had a clip from that episode. Let's take a look at it real quick.
Is KC a dynasty? Do you define it as such? And when it's all said and done, which duo will have more championships? You and Pat, or Clay and Steph?
Man, that's a good question. I would say, the Kansas City has been a dynasty for quite a while now, and obviously I'm biased to that, but I think that what Coach Reed has done since he's been here in terms of winning, in terms of the playoff runs and all the division championships, and the AFC title appearances, then obviously the Super Bowls. We're 100% a dynasty, but When you put it up against what the Warriors have done, obviously we don't have as many championships right now. So we got some work to do. We're on an uphill battle, especially when you talk about what the Warriors have been able to do. Unfortunately, I've seen quite a few daggers from the Golden State Warriors, being a Cavs fan throughout my day. But yeah, Cavs in 7 anyways. But I think at the end of the day, Patty Mahomes finds a way to overtake, what is it? They got 4 championships?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think Pat Mahomes is definitely going to find a way to get more than 4 championships. Hopefully, I'm still along for the ride by the time he gets there.
So Twan, I'm glad you're here, right? Because a lot of times people say that, I'm wild, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I be talking out the side of my neck, right? So if I do that here, just let me know. You're a friend, but I don't think that would be the case, because I did a little research when I saw that this was on the show, okay? And so I want to get your thoughts here. So initially, when I heard this, I said, hell no. They're not a dynasty. How can you be a dynasty? Right? Like 2 Super Bowls, phenomenal. But when you think dynasty, I think like 10-year run, okay? But then I did a quick little search, and I'm like, holy shit, like, out of the last 10 years, they have the most wins out of any team. So you go from 2013 to 2023. The Kansas City Chiefs are number 1, most wins, okay? But then I said, well, what is a dynasty? Because every time we have these conversations, we have these discussions, we're like, okay, well, who's the GOAT? Well, what is a GOAT? We talk about elite. Well, what is elite? What's good? Okay? So I looked it up, right? The best way to think about a dynasty in the NFL is to equate consistency, consistent winning with postseason and Super Bowl success over time. A team can't have postseason success without a Lombardi trophy and claim a dynasty, right? Let's go to the next one that I pulled. Do we have the other one? Dynasty, right? So first, dynasty, sports. A dynasty is a team or individual that dominates, that keyword, dominates their sport or league for an extended length of time. All right? So, let's go here. When you do the research, Twan, and I don't know if you have the other ones, right?
Is where it goes through like the AFC champion.
Yeah, do y'all have that clip?
We have that one.
Can we throw this up, right? So I think this is statmuse.com I went to. All right, so you go to statmuse.com and I go through the last 10 years,
The wins.
right? And I go through wins. Can we pull that up? Can I see that? Most NFL wins in the last 10 seasons. So you got the Chiefs, 117. You got the Patriots, 111. All right. But now you go to Super Bowl wins because it says dominate, right? Like go back to the last slide. Go back to the slide that says dominates postseason. The other one. Go to the next one. Because it's important. Sports dynasty and team or individual that dominates. So dominates. And then you see here, right, you got to look it up. Like I'm taking y'all in church. You know, the pastor always say, we got to go to the Hebrew of this word. We got to go to the Hebrew. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Toy. So now it says dominate. So you got to dominate. Dynasty, I think about 10-year run at least. And then postseason and Super Bowl. So now let's go to the next StatMuse graphic where it shows Super Bowls. Because if you dominate postseason, then it goes to wins. So you got the Patriots sitting here with 3 Super Bowl rings, Twan.
Yeah.
So when you think about wins, I'm like, damn. Well, initially I'm like, Twan, like, well, they're not a dynasty. But then I do the work, and then I'm like, well, they are dynasty because they have the most wins. But then I break down the words dominate and postseason, and then the most success it has been the Patriots. So then I'm like, oh, well, it's the Patriots. So my question for you, Twan, and everybody out there, the Pamelas out there, the Christy O's out there, the Go St. Patrick's that's here with us every single day. My question is, can there be 2 teams in the same era that are dynasties? That's my question.
Wow, that's great. That's a great question. If I could relate to basketball, I could take it from a period and of when we knew, I would say, when it was the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron was in Cleveland. I think that run right there when they play each other in the finals, what was it, 3 times they played each other in the finals?
Yeah. Yep.
It was like 3 times I think they played each other in the finals. That's what I could kind of. We knew Cleveland was coming out the East. We knew Golden State was going to win the West. We all was looking forward to them playing each other in the finals, and then the finals were so competitive. So I think that's the way I look at it to those teams. Football is different, man. It's so hard in football.
So before you go to football, so are you saying that in basketball, 2 teams could have a dynasty, be a dynasty?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at it, I just think even though Golden State ended up winning more titles than Cleveland, but I think both of those teams, we was looking forward to. You could have fast forwarded for 3-4 years there. We knew those 2 teams were going to be in the finals.
Yeah, but Twan, this is where I start getting off the rails for some people, right? And this is when they start calling me crazy, when they say he's talking on the side of his neck, right? This is where we're at. And tell me if I'm doing too much, if I'm going too far. But if you look at the definitions of dynasty, if you look at the definition of dominance, right? Those are the words that comes out. Postseason success. And you can't say you dominate the postseason if you don't have the Lombardi Trophy. You hoist up the Lombardi Trophy. So if that's like what we're looking at dynasty, how we're describing dynasty, and the Patriots have more Super Bowls, more Lombardi trophies than the Chiefs, then they're the clear dynasty.
Yeah. But B, don't put into thought that with football it's a game by game thing, where in basketball it's a series, so it's totally different. In football, you got one opportunity on that Sunday, you know what I mean? So it's totally different.
Right.
In basketball, you're talking about a 7-game series, and you got to go through multiple rounds to get to the ultimate. You know what I mean? It's different. You got to win 4 out of 7 3 times just to get to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When football is a little bit different.
So let's do this, Twan. Let's do this. Team, let's clip this. All right, let's run it on social, all platforms, and let's do a, what do they call it?
Poll.
Let's do a poll.
Yeah, let's put the code. Just record, put the question out there.
And the question needs to be: can there be 2 dynasties in one era? Mm-hmm. That needs to be the question. And Twan, what I'm betting on is that more people are going to say there can only be one. I know you talked about the difference. I think, in basketball and football, I do hear you there, but it sounds like, you're saying whether football, basketball, soccer, you can have two teams that, or maybe even 3 that are dynasties.
No, I think you can have 2 because you want you want to have a chance to get there, the chance to win. And if I come out the East 3-4 times, and that same team come out the West, another team come out 4 or 5 times. We fighting for the dynasty. That doesn't mean because I didn't win it that I'm not a dynasty. You know the body of work it takes to get to the ultimate game,
right?
To get to the Super Bowl, to get to the NBA championship. That's a lot of work, man. To get that done. And if you get that done for 3, 4, 5 years in a row, I mean, obviously you want to win it all, but sometimes you're gonna come up short.
Okay.
And if you're able to get it, so that shouldn't take away from us being a dynasty.
All right. Well, I know, we went 3 minutes over with Twan. We're on. This is Channel 103 Faction Talk, Sirius XM. But Twan loves basketball. I'm pretty sure if you have like one good football question, Twan will give us another 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm almost positive he's that type of dude.
Twan, we're gonna keep that in mind, then, man. We're gonna keep.
Do you have anything good?
What's some additional football?
Yeah. Do you have anything? Do we have anything on the slate?
That Twan would like to talk about? Yeah. I mean, like I said, Twan, if you got some more time on your hands.
No,
football.
Yeah, football.
What you got, Corey? Give him a few things that we want to talk about.
Well, honestly, I wanted to continue this conversation because I don't think you really explained to the people like who are you suggesting that there's 2 dynasties currently in the NFL right now? Are you still saying that the Patriots are currently? Yeah, I'm asking you.
No, that dynasty's done.
Okay.
That dynasty's done, but I'm going off the last 10 years, right? From 2013 to 23, who dominated. Because, like, I don't think you can call – am I wrong here, guys? Like, can you say dynasty and it's just 3 to 4 years, 5 years? I feel like it got to be like 10 years. I don't know where I got this from, huh?
I think the NBA people tend to use that term dynasty after 3 or 4 championships. And the NBA mostly, though.
Well, so I guess, like, yeah, I mean, maybe that's it where, you know, that's the benchmark. If you have 3 to 4 championships, that can feel like a dynasty. That's legendary stuff. Or it got to be over like an extended period of time. You got to sustain success for a long time.
Wait, sorry. And also I wanted to ask, are you agreeing or disagreeing with Travis Kelce saying that the Chiefs are a dynasty?
I feel that there can be one at the top. Like, I don't think there can, when you talk dynasty and you look at the NFL, I don't think we can say, oh, there's 2 dynasties happening right now. Because, like, we talk about dominate. Think about the word dominate. That means we dominate everybody. There's nobody that can compete.
Yeah.
Right? And so I feel that the Patriots dynasty is done. Okay? Unless Bill Belichick go out there and wins one this year. And the Chiefs are next up. If the Chiefs go out there and win another one within 2 to 3 years, oh, it's a dynasty.
Okay.
But I can't say 100% it's a dynasty like Travis did. I can't say that because if the Patriots didn't exist, then I would say okay, yes, because it's a monster. It's a lot going against the Chiefs. Going to Arrowhead, playing against Patrick Mahomes, man, that's a headache.
Right.
That's a headache.
So you're saying there's no dynasty really in the NFL currently? There's none as we speak right now.
I think that the Chiefs have an opportunity to become a dynasty with one more legendary run.
Because I'm like, if we go with what, the point that Antoine was making, you were saying that there can be 2 dynasties at the same time, right? Because you're arguing that the Cavs and the Warriors were really, dynasties during that time period.
Yeah. They dominated. They both dominated their conferences.
Yeah. And we
knew who was going to be in the finals.
Right.
It was a stretch there for 3-4 years that we knew who was about to be in the finals.
And I feel like you can argue that for the Chiefs, no? Because they've made 3 appearances. They lost one to Brady. But just, like as Antoine Walker was saying, they made it there, right? Yep. And they're still, as we speak, one of the teams you can count on being a contender. You can count on them being in probably one of the last 2 games of the season in the playoffs, no?
But I go back, like I'm being, what pastors say, what kind of church y'all grew up in?
Yeah.
We going to church or what? You feel me? Like you go to church and they say you read a passage. Go ahead.
I just have to say this because BC, he wanted to say that he don't think the Cavs is a dynasty.
No.
During that era because all they did was lose except for
hold on. Can BC chime in? Is there any way BC can chime in?
Give me 2 seconds.
All right. BC is in the booth. All right. We're gonna see if BC can chime in because how do you respond to that, Twan? That our BC who controls the board. So when we go from my camera to your camera, this graphic to that graphic, BC in the booth is controlling this. So BC is saying that the Cavs were never a dynasty. True or false?
Why? Because they only won one? Or because we just going off how many they won?
Correct. That's what he's saying. I'll speak for VC because he doesn't have a mic.
Tell BC to come in here. Can't y'all just, I don't know how this technical stuff work, but can BC just walk from out of the control room and just take your spot? Can he do that? Can he come sit in this chair?
Well,
he said he can't.
Why can't Manderville? Can Manderville take over?
They only won one.
Go ahead, Twan.
They won 3. I say I'm assuming he's saying that because they only was able to win one. Cleveland was only able to get 1 championship out of that run.
Right. Corey, what is BC saying?
Woo got his.
I mean, Woo. What is BC saying?
He's trying to get in the mic.
Okay, so we can at least hear him.
Yeah, we want to hear this.
Yeah, like Antoine, like you said, it's hard to get to the finals, and that's what the Cavs were able to do for 3 years straight, and they won one. So it's like you can't take that away from them.
Yeah, BC is just saying that they were competitive, but at the end of the day, winning is what counts.
Yeah,
and that's what makes you the dynasty is winning.
Right. I can respect that.
Yeah, that's an argument for there not being 2 at the same time.
That's what we're basing it on.
Yeah.
Hey, they said PT in the chat. I don't know if you can see the chat, Twan, But you should do that. You'll enjoy about when you're on the show. But PT says LeBron is a dynasty, not the Cavs. It's kind of true. He ain't even a dynasty. What do you call that when you do a 20-year run? What's the next level?
Oh, I don't know, but I actually wanted to say that about Tom Brady because he was a part of the Patriots as well as the Buccaneers. So it's like he's a dynasty on his own.
In himself.
If you want to say that about LeBron.
No. Tom Brady was there for 19 years. Or was it 20 years with the Patriots?
Yeah, but him and Bill Belichick was the only constant.
I know. But I don't know, going there and winning one in Tampa makes you I'm a dynasty. Yeah, he was a dynasty on his. When it was the Patriots, it was the Patriots dynasty. It's not Tom. It's not Bill. I hate that whole debate. Twan, how do you feel about it? We got to let Twan go. We're going to let Twan go after this. Twan, how you feel about that? Like this whole conversation around who was more important, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
I think it's equal credit. I think I believe it's equal credit. I think obviously, you got to have a good mastermind, good game plan. So you got to give Bill Belichick the credit for that. But then you got to have a player who can go out there and execute. And Tom Brady was one of the best at executing and getting it done. So it was a partnership. I think people want to look at that different, but they were great teams, man. They had a little luck on their side. Some things went their way. All that stuff plays a part, man. I wouldn't take anything away from neither one of those guys. But they coincide. You need both of them to be together. You need a coach to understand the players. You need the player to understand the coach. It goes both ways in all sports to me.
Right.
Especially with your superstar player.
Twan, we gotta let you go. Basketball season's coming to an end soon. Feel sad for all you basketball fans out there. I'm not. I'm ready for football season. Twan, can we book you during football season? Can we work with you during football season? Will you be kind enough to come talk?
Yeah, I think you guys should have been did that and really got my insight on football. Especially this, I'm not just a Bears fan, Brandon. I'm a football fan. I know you just think I'm a Bears fan. I'm just solely locked in the Bears, but I'm a football fan too.
Right.
I'm a real fan.
I love your perspective on football.
Like I do fantasy football. Like I'm be locked in. Like I'm really heavily involved during the football season.
Yo, Twan, maybe we should do that, like a I Am Athlete fantasy league or something.
Football league, yes.
That would be dope. Maybe we can open that up with our audience as well, like our teammates. We gonna call y'all team.
Pick like 5 people from the audience to be a part of the whole thing.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do that. League. That's dope. All right, bro. You looking good, bro. Looking slim, looking lean. I don't know what you doing. Look like you eating a bunch of salads. Hey, but you looking good, bro.
That's what happens when you get sick, man. You gotta change it up, baby.
There you go. I love it, man. All right, bro.
All right, boss. Appreciate you again.
That's Twan, man.
Yes,
Love
sir.
Twan.
Yes, sir.
You know, it'd be great. I just thought about this. What if Twan gave us some baseball, feedback? I know maybe we're not that experienced, but he would be like our baseball reference. I tried. It's the dark days of summer, man.
Bro, you know what's gonna happen? Like we look at our numbers fluctuating here and there. I feel like lose half our viewership. Does anybody like baseball? Who watches baseball still?
October.
Huh?
October, you watch it. It's kind of like the finals.
Is that when the World Series comes around?
Yeah, that's around
October,
time of the World Series.
Woo, you not watching baseball. Woo.
Hey man, go to a live game.
Baseball's a rough watch. Yeah, maybe live.
I have. Right, I went to the Yankee playoff game where it was like a must win.
It's hard to watch on TV. It's very hard.
I feel like a Yankees game gotta be. I feel like that's a dope atmosphere, no?
Yeah.
Can we ask our teammates here in the chat? Do you guys want us to talk baseball? Hell no. No, we don't.
Yeah, I know. That was the first one I saw, too.
Yes, we do.
We don't want to talk no damn baseball. William Burney.
All right.
So far mixed.
Brandon Marshall here. Ashley Nicole Moss. She's not on injured reserve yet. But it is getting serious. Like, she talked about her foot. She was in studio last week. So she's taking care of herself, making sure she's okay. So we're praying for Ashley, and we want her back as soon as possible. But we can't rush. What would we call her? I can't say star player. I can't give her that. Her head gonna get too big.
Is she an all-star or a superstar?
Yeah, is she the face of the franchise?
Well, she's the first lady.
Definitely first
She's the
lady.
first lady,
Definitely
for sure.
A star player. I think we can go with
Yeah.
star player, right?
She's the star.
Star player. I know you said there's a difference between superstar and star. Not to say that, she's not a superstar as well, but
Because you can look at it,
Superstar,
because
star.
Corey, you could be the quarterback. You the quarterback. You make everything go. And then, like, am I the receiver? Is Ashley the receiver? Is Ashley the legendary running back? Is Ashley the quarterback?
we're
Is
the
she
you
a
know what we
corner?
are?
Is she a corner? She's spicy like a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say maybe no. We're the LSU offense. That Joe Burrow won the national championship with. Joe Burrow.
Okay.
I got Jamar Chase and I got Justin Jefferson. You can't beat that.
Somebody said she the face for show. She's elite. She's the star player.
Star
Oh,
player.
Floor
did you guys
general.
know
We
that
miss you,
Ashley was
Ashley.
in the chat today?
Oh,
Was she?
Yeah,
Oh, I missed
early
it.
on. I forgot to mention it. She was
Was she?
actually commenting and responding. Her and Christio had a back and forth.
What? Oh,
So
wow.
why we ain't bring that up,
I
team?
know, right? We should have
Woo?
pointed that out.
I think it was right when we got Twan on, and then I forgot about it. But she was responding early on in the chat.
Can we text Ashley? I'm a FaceTime Ashley right now.
Yeah.
Let's FaceTime Ashley. Ashley Nicole Moss.
See if we
How
can
is
get
she?
her on real
How,
quick.
how is she on the chat? Like, let's see if she can get back
See if
in
she
this
picks
chat.
up.
See if she picks up. She always screens my calls,
Yeah.
like always. Hold on, we're trying to get to Ashley
She
Nicole.
got to
Stand
prop
by.
the foot up.
Oh, could you say you went to the crib? Yeah, she had the foot up. Let's make sure she's okay. She's the ex-receiver.
I will say I do appreciate the audience for consistently mentioning her and showing her love with the teammates.
That's love. Can we talk about how beautiful Wu's shot is today too? I think we got the new cameras. This
Hey
is
man,
the
it's
new
Mysterious Manderville, man. He set me
Sheesh.
up. He got me good today.
We went from the webcam to the ultra clear camera. I'm not sure
Correct.
exactly what camera.
Got me
it
in
is, but
1080
look at-
today.
There we go, 1080. You
That's
got
a
the 1080
1080?
on 'em.
Yeah.
Tell them that's Ash. See, that's what happens when you lose your spot. It's called Wally Pipp, and we'll talk about this another time. But that's Ashley Nicole Moss's camera.
Hey
Exactly,
man,
yeah.
I don't mind it. I enjoy the camera.
Hey, we're gonna enjoy it while we have it, huh?
Nah, when Ashley come back, we're gonna give her the Zoom camera.
Yeah. Let's give her the zoom. No, she got to chime in from the iPad cam.
You know she gonna be hot. You know she gonna be like, "What is this? You know, why am I on the left? Why I'm not in the middle?
Yeah.
Why my light ain't right?
Yeah.
Why Carmelo Anthony ain't behind me?"
Right.
Like that's how she gonna be. Anyways, we moving on. What we got?
Yeah.
Another 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, Brandon, I wanted to go back to Word on the Tweet, right? Where we discussed some of the trending topics on our timeline and whatnot. And one trending topic was Netflix announcing that they plan to release a documentary on the 2006 to 2009 Florida Gator team. They're gonna call it Swamp Kings. It's gonna basically just document just that whole era, right? Some names on those teams, of course, to name a few: Tim Tebow, Carlos Dunlap, Percy Harvin, Joe Hayden, the Pouncey twins. That was also when Aaron Hernandez was there. We know his story, and there was also another player on that team. We know he was, of course, convicted for murder. Another player, Tony Joyner, he was on that team as well. So it's like they got a lot of.
Hold on,
there's a lot of
Tony
baggage.
Joyner. They had 2 murderers.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So there's a lot. It's a lot to unpack from those teams that they had in that era. Cam Newton was also on one of those teams. I don't know if I mentioned him.
Urban Meyer, was he dancing in? Let me stop, cause I made some mistakes too. I ain't never killed nobody,
Yeah,
but
sheesh,
I was
right?
about to
Two on the
make
same
fun of
team.
Urban Meyer, but shoot, I didn't have my moments. Urban was in. Urban Meyer, who's the head coach of this
He
team,
was,
Corey,
yeah.
also became the head coach of Jacksonville Jaguars. Does everyone remember that run he had in Jacksonville?
I think we do.
I mean, they wanted him out of town as quickly as possible. That dude, they had a game. It was maybe they was playing against the Cleveland Browns or the Cincinnati Bengals. And instead of flying back with the team, he stayed there, went to his bar, because he was the Ohio Buckeyes
Oh, that's right.
head
In
coach,
Ohio.
right? And they loved him. He won a national championship there. I don't know if he won 2, but I know he won 1. And so he had a little bar there. And then he seen doing the thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, and then he was fired. Was he fired shortly after that, or did it take some time?
I think it took some time, but I think he was out before. I want to say before the season was over. It was like a game left or something like that.
Corey, let me ask you this,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody recruited you. Did Urban Meyer recruit you?
I'm trying to figure out where he was at. Briefly, it wasn't Urban Meyer though, but it was Mike Vrabel, he actually came to one of my games, and he was the one that was recruiting me, but not Urban Meyer. You say
Did they offer you?
They didn't. They didn't. No, they was one of a couple teams that didn't. A couple schools around there.
Tell the people, Corey. Man.
But I was a big Michigan guy, so I wasn't really big on like getting the Ohio Buckeyes offer. So yeah, I really like Michigan.
All right, so what happened with this thing? What's the question here?
So it's releasing August 23rd. You gonna watch it?
I don't think I'm gonna watch it.
No, why not?
You are?
I'm definitely watching it. Like I said, there's so much to unpack. There's so many different storylines, so many different big names involved. I mean, you see how many guys that made it to the NFL that was on those teams?
Yeah, but I don't know. Like August 23rd, like Aaron Hernandez, we heard that story already. Mm-hmm. The one kid, I didn't know they had 2 killers.
Yeah.
So maybe that'd be interesting to see what happened there. I know the Pouncey twins, so I don't need to hear anything from the Pouncey twins.
But it's the college version. Do you know much of the college versions of the Pouncey twins? It might be like some footage we haven't seen. I'm interested to see what it's going to be, what it's going to be like composed of.
I'm a pass. What you feeling?
I'm a documentary head, and I didn't know that about Tony Joyner. Yeah. So I already, watched the whole Netflix. Did you research him too? Did you research some of the stuff on him? It says he reached a plea deal, but but he was charged with the murder of his wife. Oh, his wife.
That's what I just learned on it. So.
Okay, no, I didn't know that. But I think they have quite a lineup, and this reminds me of other documentaries that Netflix does, like when they did the Fight in the Garden, Malice in the Palace. Mm-hmm. Like you just want to go back in time and kind of just experience it. Right. And as someone who's not the biggest on college, like I think that would be a great way for me to kind of like learn more about that team. Yeah.
But why would you want to learn? Why would you learn about that team if you're not big in college? That's like for me. I'm the same way.
I'm a storyline guy.
Storyline.
Okay.
Storyline. Aren't you a big storyline guy?
Like it could be about golf. As long as there's a great storyline, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. BC, by the way, just chimed in and said he's not watching this.
He's not watching it either.
BC, we don't care about your opinion right now because your audio. We can't hear you. We want you to chime in. We want BC. BC, come sit in Ashley's chair. Like, I can't wait for everyone to get to really know BC.
I know. BC has great opinions. The only thing is I'm the only one that hears them. So it's like
it's all in
I have to constantly butt in to get his opinion in there.
Right.
We're going to work it out, though.
We need a bigger set, and we need more cameras. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Subscribers actually drives more viewership. More viewerships drives more revenue. More revenue. Now you're playing with a budget where you can invest back into the show.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this question, and then we can move on. And my iPad died. If you had $1 million right now, Woo, Corey, I don't care about BC's opinion because we can't hear BC. So BC, please don't chime in. If y'all had $1 million, what would you do with it? Give me what would you do with $1 million today?
I already know what I would do. Invest half of it, take care of some bills for my family, and store the rest away.
All right, break it down. $1 million. All
right, so
give me the layers.
I would invest in 2 things, probably multiple things, but probably like stocks, properties, open small businesses, things like that. So like $500,000 would go straight to that.
Okay.
Let's say there's credit cards, siblings, parents. I don't want them to struggle while I have $1 million in my pocket. So I would take care of those things initially, and then I would try to use my investments, let's say, to create funding that I could give back to my family.
Okay.
I think for me, my mindset is it's a bigger picture than me. So that would be my answer.
All right. I love that. But what I would say is, one of the highlights, one of the things that jumped out, and we had Wale on our show, retired NFL player, president of global sports entertainment division at UBS, right? So this is a big deal globally. In our community, money flows up and not down. So like think about what you just said, right? And those are the things that we need to really focus on and try to fix for the next generation, or just get our community where it needs to be, right? We need to invest in each other. We need to make sure that we keep money flowing in our community, right? So we can continue to, make sure that it's thriving, it's healthy. But when we make it,
right? Boom. Now you have $1 million. Now half of your money is going to flow up to your parents, your family, instead of flowing down to your kids, right? So just think about that. But that's the way it is, and that's what we should do. We should take care of our people. But it just made me think about the conversation that we had with Wale and Antoine. Antoine was a guy that made $100 million, and he lost all of it. That's a public story, so I'm not sharing anything that he hasn't shared to the world, and he shared it right here as well on our platform. So if you want to hear more about that, go to the Antoine Walker and Wale episode. It was pretty dope for those that want to learn more about financial literacy and freedom. Corey, you have $1 million. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm off the rip. I'm saving half of the $1 million. Right, I'm just gonna save it, but the other half, I'm probably gonna do a lot with it. One thing I'm gonna do is find 2 to 3 maybe long-term stocks to invest in. Definitely gonna do that.
I am athlete.
Yeah, that's definitely long-term. And then what I'll do, I'll sit on the rest of the money that I have, because I think with time, I think some ideas, some potential businesses, some ideas that come up with what I want to do there. I really like clothing and whatnot. I was thinking of maybe one day having my own clothing brand.
I can see you getting into that.
Yeah, we'll see with that.
By the way, I just want to
say,
a
nice lump sum, something I'll do.
Is Lamel Bivens? That's Shelly, right?
That is Shelly.
Tell me why he said I'm getting a Drake feature. No cap.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Investing in the Drake feature.
It might blow.
In the Drake feature. So
listen, people making millions of dollars off one song. Could be. You got to be a hit. Send in a verse. What's his name?
That's Shelly.
Oh, that's our Shelly.
We got people in the chat.
Shelly music too.
Our Shelly, who edits all of our clips on anything you see on IG and our
shout out to Shelly.
And our YouTube short. Yeah, shout out to Shelly. He's the man behind that. Interesting. Corey, but I will say, so it sounds like you're gonna put some money under the mattress.
yeah, it's going away, making sure.
Yeah, but I see even that, like you can put your money. See, this is what we have to learn how money works. Mm-hmm. So some of the wealthiest people in the world, they don't actually touch their money, right? They use other people's money or the bank's money. So how do you build wealth? How do you build an empire, start your entrepreneur journey without using your money, right? Well, let's say you have that $1 million. Mm-hmm. Right? You can put that $1 million in the market. Like you said, Woo. You put that $1 million in the market. All right. Now that's earning you 15, 22%. Now in the last year, it's been extremely volatile. Up and down, up and down. A lot of people have lost 40, 50%, 60% of their fortune. Okay. Now long term, if you're in the market, right? Like me, because I made all my money as a football player. Mm-hmm. That's kind of, it's volatile. It's volatile in this way where, at 25, at 30, you could be done and you're never going to earn that money again. So instead of getting into the market and being aggressive and saying, I need to flip this money right away. No, you say, listen, 10 years. So you put your money in the market and you don't look at it for 10 years, which is not the case, right? You have people working on it every single day, but you're in it. You're playing the stock market for a long time. So when it's volatile and it's up and down, you just ride the wave. When it's up, you don't take it out. When it's down, you don't panic, right? This is the market. But if you have $1 million in the market, okay, now that is generating 22%. Now, depending on where interest rates are, you can go borrow against that $1 million. You can go borrow take out a line of credit. You can go take out maybe, let's say, $400,000 or $500,000 at 3%, or 5%. So now with your money is paying for the money you borrowed. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So $1 million, keep it in the market. Boom. It's now, instead of making over the last 10 years, if you were just half decent, probably bringing in 15%, right? And that's like just where the market's been historicals over the last 10 years. All right, so 15%. Now, if you go borrow and you got to pay 6% on that, so instead of you bringing in 15, what are you bringing in? 9. You're still making money.
Yeah.
Right? And it's crazy. That's what I learned late in my career. 13 years in the NFL making $10 million a year. Like, I'm like, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some people out there, celebrities, entrepreneurs, prominent businessmen and women that will go buy a crib off of their line, against their portfolio. Go buy a $20 million crib.
One of the wisest things I remember someone ever telling me was never use your own money. And what they meant was, like, even if you have to go out and, like, pool the money together with groups of people, never use your own money. So it's like, in that regard, yes, it's your own money, but you're using it in a way where it's like you're kind of like doubling the system or something. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, that's right. But here's the problem for our community is this, Woo.
I would say education right off the top.
No, it's like we don't get that. We have to use our own money. Like the banking system was, you know, you talking about systemic racism and just how systems were created to block us out, whether redlining. Remember how we generated wealth back in the day was off of real estate. Being able to buy a home and then take out a second mortgage. People were taking out those second mortgages to then go invest in their businesses. That was the American dream.
Yeah.
Okay? But we weren't able to get the homes.
Correct.
So that's where we talk about the wealth gap. So now we got to go hustle. We got to go do these service jobs. We got to save up for 20 years and then take that money and be aggressive, right? Instead of that money flowing down. My kids, your kids, or future kids, being able to say, okay, Pops left me $1 million. Now I got a head start on life.
Yeah.
So this wealth gap that we're talking about, like, it's going to be extremely, almost impossible for us ever to close the wealth gap if we're always like hustling, and we're not able to pass money down. Our money goes up.
Correct. And, you know, I heard a wild stat that $1 stays in the black community for only 24 hours before it exits and goes somewhere to Gucci or, you know, Ferrari, whatever your interests are, Nikes, whatever it is. It only stays in the community for 24 hours. Meanwhile, in other communities, it's weeks sometimes because they actually show support. They go to the local grocery store, buy someone who shares the same culture, and reinvest in that culture. We just don't do that.
Oh my goodness, that's great. Somebody said B. Marshall turned I Am Athlete to the Grant Cardone show. Hey, you all know this could go left, it could go right. All right, but some people, like, we got to have these conversations. And here's what I would say. This is what I Am Athlete is, the flagship show. We're gearing up for a legendary run here soon. I know you guys want that, you know, that sitting down with some of the top athletes and artists in the world. We'll do that, come in here soon. But that show was built off of 70% evergreen in these type of conversations. One week we could be talking about financial literacy with Antoine Walker and Wale. Another week we could be talking about, relationships, marriage, parenting, mental health. So we have these big topics, and then it's 30% sports. Paper Route gives us the opportunity to talk about sports daily. So we're in a conversation, because on the other show, we're not chasing any headlines. We're just having conversations. This show, Paper Route, gives the opportunity to talk sports on a daily basis, but it's 70 to 80% sports, and the rest is evergreen, having these type of conversations. Cultural talk, what's going on in the world of fashion, and what's going on in the world of, politics, what's going on in the world, just period. So the pop culture element is definitely something that we'll continue to add to the show. What else we got, Corey? We have another 10 minutes, 12 minutes of this amazing show today, episode here on Faction Talk, Channel 103, Sirius XM, YouTube, streaming live. What else we got?
We got a couple more football topics. So Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson made an appearance on the Rich Eisen show and had some things to say about his quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. This is what he said. He said, I think going into his third year 2 with us as a staff, I think the way he played the back half of the season is the way he needs to start this season. There's a lot of confidence at the end of the year with him, and that's the next phase, right? It's putting it all together, and I feel too like he's that guy, which he showed towards the end of the year. He can put the team on his back. Brandon, you think Trevor Lawrence can lead the Jaguars back on a deep playoff run?
I really like Trevor Lawrence. And I'm gonna answer this in a way that's not taking a shot at him, because I feel like, we do this too much with these young quarterbacks or just quarterbacks, period. Okay? Now, a quarterback, you need a quarterback if you want to be successful and you want to sustain success consistently throughout, years. But team, right? So no to Trevor Lawrence, to your question, but yes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why? Because Doug Peterson is a really good coach. All right. A lot of people are saying that Trevor Lawrence was a bust before he got there, took over, and even last year, like he said, the first half of the season it was bad.
Yeah.
We were like, man, this is not good. And then all of a sudden, boom, halfway through, they turned it around, and he looks like the guy that they drafted and everybody thought he was. We were saying that Trevor Lawrence was probably one of the best quarterback talents that we've seen since Andrew Luck. And then he started his career that way.
Yeah.
And then, boom, he takes off. But defense, what did the defense do? What about coaching, right? And even his wide receivers, even Kirk. We were talking about Christian Kirk, right?
Yeah, Christian Kirk.
Oh, why is he getting paid $20 million a year? What's going on? He actually played up to the contract.
He did.
Right? So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars have what it takes to go to the next level. This is a team that I think we need to be paying attention to. You talk about storylines, Woo. Yes, I do like storylines, but I like storylines within the things that I like.
I want to point out, because I don't know what happened during their bye week, but the first half of the season, they had 3 wins. And then the bye week happened, only 2 losses after that.
Wow.
Yeah, they turned it around.
So if they come in with that kind of energy in this season, it's over.
And then I see B in here, Morale, if I'm saying that correctly. Don't forget about Calvin Ridley on the Jaguars. This is going to be scary.
That, yeah.
But let me throw this to you, Corey, real quick before you give your thoughts here. Yo, it's going to be interesting. September 17th is when they kick off, and guess what? Patrick Mahomes is in town.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the Falcons. And that's going to be an interesting game, right? Because they should win that game, right? On paper, they should win that game. All right? So you're going to see it early. How do they play against a contender? How do they play against a team that they can beat? You got to be able to look at both, and that's going to tell you what type of team you have. Then you have the Colts, and then you have the Steelers. The Steelers is going to be a big game. The Colts is a game – like, the Colts are going to be really good. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Colts are 2 teams that I think we should be paying attention to. Those are the storylines, right? So definitely have them there. But on paper and then going into the season, they should be better. You have Anthony Richardson. How is he going to adjust to the pro game? How is he going to be okay starting off this year? They're in better position. But then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, Pittsburgh Steelers, they're not a contender. And it sucks because I'm from Pittsburgh and I'm a Steelers fan outside of me, the teams I played for. But you have Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's always going to have his team in position. He's shown that. Right?
Isn't he one of the most winningest coaches?
Yes. He's never had a losing season.
Yeah.
He's never had a losing season. With these terrible years he's had over the last, or situations, positions he's been in, or this franchise has been in over the last 5-6 years. So then you have them. Then you have Bengals, the Ravens. Like, this is a tough schedule, and I think I'm looking at this right. So Corey, I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars could find themselves in, a good position come postseason.
Because, I think they definitely win their division, right? We're talking about a division. They have the Colts. You don't think they match up well against the Colts? You don't think they'll have a more explosive offense than the Colts?
It depends on Anthony Richardson. That's what it comes down to. Now, I know they're going to protect him. I know they have great coaches there. They're not going to ask him to do more than he can do. Mm-hmm. They're not going to ask him to lead the way. It's a team thing, but I just think that Colts are going to be a really good team. They've had top 5 defenses over the last couple years. They've had great play up front, offensive line. They have a great offensive line when they're healthy. They have a running game, potentially the best, not the best running back in football, but maybe the best running back in football when he's healthy, right? And, they do have some receivers. So, the Colts is a team to look out for, but They stack up better.
Yeah, well, so, the Colts, they drafted Josh Downs. They added Isaiah McKenzie. He was at Buffalo. They got Michael Pittman Jr., and then they got Alec Pierce. He was a guy who kind of came along last year. I don't know if you got to watch some Colts games. But then you talk about, the Jaguars, wide receiving core, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk. So it's going to be – and then you got Evan Ingram, too, at the tight end position. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. But we got another story, too, right? So recently – Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs says that quarterback Jordan Love can do the same exact thing as Aaron Rodgers. So we got a full quote from him. This is what he told Dennis Cross of Spectrum News 1, Wisconsin. He says, I think Jordan can do it. I think Jordan is a really good quarterback. When you go from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan, Aaron was a really great quarterback, but I believe Jordan can do the same exact thing. So I don't really see what's the big difference. Brendan, I got to ask you, is this, as a receiver too, they said this is the time of the year where, you hype up your quarterback, instill maybe some confidence in him. Is that what he's doing here? Or, does he really believe that?
I'll be honest with you, no disrespect. I didn't know who the kid was, the receiver was, so I had to Google him, right? Mm-hmm. And because I'm like, why would you say this? You know what I mean? And he's in his second year. I think they drafted him in 22. Fourth round. Yeah. And no shade on the fourth round, right? Mm-hmm. Because I was a fourth round. I was 119th pick in 2006.
Yeah, he was 132nd in 2022.
Right. So I'm not saying he's not like that, because you can be like that. We've seen a lot of players. Hell, Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. Yeah. So I don't want to do that, but I don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. And so these are things that I would say. These are things that I would have said when I was younger. These are things that I still kind of say. So I would say to the young man, here's the 2 things you got to look out for, right? When you go out there and you make these bold, audacious statements. 1, if you hit, you're a genius.
Right.
Right? Yeah. 2, if you don't, you're going to put yourself in a position where you better be able to take what comes that way. People going to call you crazy. People going to say that you don't know what you're talking about. People like myself, well, who is this kid? Because you're Aaron Rodgers? Come on, man. This is a wild statement. But maybe Love can go out there and ball. Maybe he'll shock the world. I'm not betting on it. I'm not doing it. All right? Oh.
Let's show Romero some love, though, because
hold on. I got to take this call. Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah. I don't know if you can.
Sha'Carri?
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to call you 5 minutes. Right back. All right. She's so hard to get in contact with. She'll hit me back, and then I'll hit her. She'll hit me back.
Yeah, I remember we went to Orlando for the interview.
Yeah, we ain't gonna say that. Go ahead, you can say that.
Scratch it from the record.
We went to Orlando to shoot, and she stood us up.
I didn't say it. You did.
I ain't say it. You did.
We was in the building. We was ready.
We was ready. We still made it work. But anyways, what was I saying? I'm sorry.
We're talking about Romeo Doubs, though.
You go out there, maybe Love will surprise us. He'll shock us, but I'm not betting on that. You know what I'm saying? So, look, man, go out there, ball, shock the world, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, we shall see.
And I was just going to say, to show love, I like to show love. Mm-hmm. It shows here that in his 2022 campaign, he was averaging 10 yards per reception. So, he's not he's on the cusp, he's getting there. Mm-hmm. He only had 1 year, but I do want to show him some love. I know he's a little unknown right now, but
why do you want to show him love?
I just don't like to lead with hate or anything like that. Give him some more attention,
Okay, all right. I mean, I respect. I love that.
I've seen him play. He's pretty good.
You're a nice guy.
Goes back to community. That's all.
You are a nice guy.
I'll take it.
But hey, Brandon, before we say goodbye to the people, I don't know if this weekend you saw our Angel Reese. We had an opportunity to get an exclusive interview with her immediately after she won the national championship. But she made an appearance in a music video over this weekend. Lotto and her single featuring Cardi B, Put It on the Floor. Right? This is actually a screenshot of her in the music video and whatnot. And then of course Cardi B gave her a little shout out. Look at Angel Reese, man. She's doing it, isn't she?
You know what? This is what you call taking, not advantage, owning the moment.
Yeah.
riding a wave.
I agree.
This is awesome, man. Like the only knock I can say, and I know you can be like, oh, we gotta do long. Why we gotta be positive? It's just like know your brand. Like she right now is in a moment where she can transcend into like
Almost anything, man.
That's right.
This has been her summer. Ever since we've done that, ever since she's won, I feel like she's just been blowing up, enjoying life, and just, I guess, gaining some regular like recognition. And I think that's going to be great when she enters
national
the WNBA.
Some global.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Especially doing stuff like this. Cardi B is global.
Correct.
Putting on these type of stages.
Yeah.
But this is big for WNBA is what I'm trying to get at. I think that she's going to be one of those pioneers that really get the league to take off.
That's right.
You know?
I mean, she's proven just how marketable a woman can be, right?
Absolutely.
Just as marketable as a man. I mean, we're seeing her just all over the place. And really shout out to Angel Reese.
And maybe even more powerful because when you think about buying power, especially consumer brands, 60%, 70% is driven by women.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. So like I'm glad you brought that up. Like I actually love that moment that they had. It was controversial, but like it's put a bigger spotlight on women's basketball.
Correct.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's another moment where you look at where they say, all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They did it. The WNBA, women's basketball, Angel Reese, they parlayed that into a lot of eyeballs, a lot of impressions, a lot of attention.
Absolutely.
It was a great show. We miss you, Ashley Nicole Moss. Come back soon, heal up, put that foot up. If you need, a flush out, like someone to come and get the swelling out your foot, Corey loves feet, so he'll come and just flush your foot out, right? Right?
I get you right, Ashley. Yeah.
I get you right, Ashley. We love you guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Who's on the show tomorrow?
Tomorrow we got Andre Drummond.
We have Andre Drummond coming in.
He's going to be in studio with us. Yeah,
Fire.
Absolutely.
And then we also have what else happening this week?
And then on Wednesday we're going to have Jordan Burks announcing his commitment on Wednesday.
Is that our first announcement on the show like that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
History breaking.
That's
Absolutely.
right. And he's, for you guys that don't know who he is, Overtime took the basketball world by storm. They went out there and said, you don't have to go to college. You can go to Overtime and you get paid. So they were kind of like at the forefront of this whole paying high school athletes nil, whatever. And so he was one of the superstars there. And so there's a few teams, few programs that want him bad. And he'll make the announcement right here. And then we also have KJ Osborne.
Absolutely.
You
got Thursday.
You have, Batman and Robin out there in Minnesota. You got Justin Jefferson on the other side. Then there's KJ Osborne. Did you see this kind of year he had last year?
He had a good one.
Good one. All right, guys, we love y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow, noon, right here on YouTube. Faction Talk Sirius XM, Channel 103. Peace.
Peace, y'all.